I don't. Oh, good question, Sean. Can we edit this and cut and get to another question? I have to answer it.
Mike Walmsley, welcome to Question Roulette.
Thank you, Sean. Looking forward to this.
Yes, should be good, hopefully.
Yes, I hope so.
Yes. So obviously I know you a bit, Mike, but for people who don't know who you are, can you tell us a bit about yourself?
Okay, I'm born and bred Waroona, have been for 59 years. We'll be 60 next year. Always had a strong connection to community and volunteering through ag societies and land care groups, and then over the time I've moved into council duties, but I've got 4 wonderful children and a lovely wife, and we farm in Waroona and from farming family. I grew up in my early years on a dairy farm.
Yeah.
And then moved into beef production, so we're still doing that to some effect. I've got one son that joins me on the farm doing that. He looks after things, and yeah, I'm involved in a multitude of different bits and pieces through the community, but certainly it keeps me busy, but it keeps my brain functioning as well. And I'm always inspired by some of the lovely people we have in our community, the people that mentor you and they don't even know they're doing that. So I'm always inspired by some of the things that they do, and I really do love this part of the world. It's a great part of the world, so I enjoy living here and I enjoy being part of this community.
Yes, and Waroona is a great community.
I think, yeah, absolutely it is, yeah. Rural communities just are. They just are. It's full of good people that are generally doing the right thing and doing, for others as well, which is, yeah, always great.
We'll go over the rules for Question Roulette. So you will see here that we've got roughly about 200 different tokens in here. You'll see also that they've got different colours. So the black ones are more serious questions, the blue ones are less serious questions.
Right.
Your job is to pick
the blue ones.
each.
The blue ones?
5 of the blue ones, 5 of the black ones, and then from there we'll do the interview based on questions that are linked to those numbers.
Right, all right. I'll mix them up.
Yeah. What is the latest night you have had in the past year?
I don't sleep overly well, so when you say late nights, I do tend to get up at some stage during the night, but even when I'm travelling, look, probably had a couple of nights where we haven't actually gone to sleep, so I'm not sure.
Oh, geez.
Probably right through, yeah, in the last year. Yeah, good question. Probably I'd say right through a whole 24 hours perhaps. Yeah, so that's late enough.
How are you still functioning after 24 hours?
You just get used to it. You just get used to it.
You just get used to it.
I don't sleep in really good chunks of time, like 2 or 3 hours is about the maximum I get. So yeah, sometimes probably just don't have a great night's sleep. So yeah.
Yeah. What about like events or something you've gone to? You haven't like come back home at 2 a.m. in the morning?
Oh yes, yeah, I've had that. Yeah, it's definitely had that, and we've did a bit of travelling recently where we got in really late at night to the airport, and by the time you get home it was probably 3 in the morning. So yeah, probably something like that. But then I was up at 6 or 7 o'clock and I went to a cattle sale down at Boynuff. So. As you do.
Yeah, all part of the fun.
Absolutely, yeah. I was pretty tired that night, I can tell you, the night after, but anyway, yeah. So yeah, late nights don't tend to worry me because being a farmer too, I generally get up pretty early anyway.
Yeah.
And I spent a lot of years carting produce to the markets. So sometimes they were 2 o'clock starts for, most of summer. So that's probably what's impacted my sleeping patterns a little bit.
Yeah, just used to waking up at 2 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, very hard to break that pattern, but I'm slowly getting there. I haven't done that for a couple of years, but I'm slowly getting there.
Which is the better sporting code, the AFL or the NRL?
Oh, look, I'm an AFL person, absolutely. I've never understood rugby. I've never really followed it. I can tell you a few teams, but I enjoy AFL, played it as a kid, coached my boys and Auskick when they were little and bits and pieces, and I'm an Eagles tragic, sadly at the moment, but yeah, not so good.
How are you feeling about Harley Reid being injured?
Oh, well, just another, yeah. You shouldn't have a team with one person in it. I mean, you're meant to have coverage, but it's certainly a blow. But Harley's going to be he's an exciting footballer for sure. Just got to get his temper under control, and he'll be fine. But I'd like to think, I'd enjoy the flow of AFL. I get a little bit frustrated where I see it perhaps turning into a little bit like basketball now, when everyone runs up one end and then everyone runs up the other end, and there's not that flow that it used to be. But as a little kid watching the winners on a Sunday night, the VFL at the time, and watching all those muddy paddocks that they used to play, and you barely could tell what team was what. It was a lot slower game, but these guys are athletes now. They're high-performing athletes that run. They're running machines, and AFL for me, absolutely.
Yeah,
yep.
And with the Waroona Demons here in town, do you have much involvement?
My son was playing for a little while. He did his knee last year, so he's had a reconstruction, so he was out for this season. But we were going in to watch him when he was playing. I hope to. Hopefully, he's going to play again this year, or have some involvement. But over the years, we get him if we can. But generally, because I'm busy during the weekends are kind of busy on the farm, catching up on bits and pieces. So as much as we'd love to get in there, that sort of time of when I haven't got other commitments to sort of spend, and there's always something to do on the farm. So
imagine that keeps you pretty busy.
It absolutely does. Yes.
When did you move out of home for the first time?
Good question. When I was younger, I did a stint in Canada on a rural exchange for 9 months or something. It was like that, and I guess that was probably my first venture out from home. It was a learning curve. I was 19, and I'd never been to boarding school or anything like that, but I went to work in Alberta, and I'd never seen snow, so the first 6 weeks I was working in snow, trying to look after cattle.
What time did you go during, was it you went from summer into
it was late February, I think, and got back in November or something, but it was bitterly cold, and I thought, my goodness, just completely opposite. I'd gone from a hot summer into that, but the summer over there, it was lovely. And I spent a month touring around in America in June, I think it was that year, or July. It was sensational, but that was probably the first time, and then I was still living at home basically with my folks in a separate unit on the farm, and then when we got married I was in another house with my wife away from our farm, so that was probably the most serious I'd been away from home. So I suppose 19, and then I was married at 23, so that was when I was full-time away from home. And since then we've shifted back onto the farm anyway. The folks have father passed away many years ago, and mum's moved off. She had her own farm after that, so yeah.
And how did you find the sort of transition of not only moving out of home, but moving to Canada for 9 months?
The first few weeks was pretty brutal, I must admit. The people that I had gone to work for just saw us as probably cheap labour. So the connection with him wasn't tremendous. He was a very introverted man. She was a school teacher. She was a bit more bubbly, but she worked away during the day, so I was sort of stuck with him. And he had some other guys that worked on the farm that were a lot more sociable, and we had a few other guys that weren't far away. There was a guy from Tasmania that wasn't too far from where I was, so we knocked around a lot together. And as a young person, 19, being in Canada just after the America's Cup and all that, we had quite a good time. It was quite a good fun.
So I didn't rub it into the Americans every time you saw them?
Sometimes, but the Canadians are lovely people, and it's such a pretty country. I haven't been back since, but it's on the bucket list to revisit. The bits we saw through the Rockies and all that sort of stuff was sensational, but I'd like to. British Columbia and very pretty. Very pretty. So plan to do that, plan to get back, but
maybe when you eventually retire, Mike.
When I retire, that'll be the time. Definitely.
How did you celebrate your 21st birthday?
I actually shared my 21st with my cousin.
Oh wow.
And we were born 3 days apart. She lives in Narrogin, we were at 21 we held it at the Waroona Recreation Centre, and we had a band there, and she had a certain amount of her family and friends, and I did the same, so it was quite a large event. And back then they sort of were. I think I've still got the key somewhere. I never sort of used it. I think the key had been worn out by the time I got the key, or the keyhole had. So look, that was where we celebrated, and it was a large event. the funny parts that I remember of that night is the band that was playing was picked, I think, either by my father or my cousin's father.
Yeah.
And they were playing like 50s and 60s music. And fortunately, one of my cousins had some musical ability. So he got up and got on the guitar.
Yeah.
And the funny thing was, straight away, he had to tune the guitar. So he did that. And from that, it was great. Everyone got up and danced after that. And I think that was probably one of the highlights of the night. But it was a lovely night. It was a large night. And sometimes when it's sort of that large too, you don't get around to everyone. But that was the 21st. It was quite the affair.
Yeah. Do you remember like what birthday cake you had? Or?
No.
Too long ago.
Too long ago. Yeah. Too many birthdays since then. Yeah.
What do you miss the most about your childhood?
We spent a huge amount of time on push bikes and freedom that we had. I suppose the lack of sophistication and the busyness. We seemed to have time. Weekends was playing sport, and even through summer I played cricket, basketball and sort of footy as a child. So those times were good times. There's something about growing up on a farm too that gives you a certain sense of direction and freedom.
Yeah.
I had a little motorbike as a child, and I was probably one of the only kids in the area that had one, and I had so much fun on that, riding around. You had the freedom to do that.
Yeah.
And didn't have all the issues and things, I suppose, that as you kind of gather as you get older. But the best things was probably just that time on the farm, doing it with freedom, making your own fun. You didn't need to rely on an outside, like a device to give you what you needed to have fun. I do see that a lot of children now rely on that third-party entertainment, I guess,
Yes.
to instead of going and getting a sheet of tin and making a cubby house, or going and getting a heap of mud in the paddock and trying to create some weird sculpture, or just those sorts of things, or just riding the bike and the freedom of that. Whether it's a push bike or where I had a motorbike, but even the push bike, we just wore those things out, just riding everywhere. Just even ride into town at certain times. I rode to schools, and we were sort of 10 k's out of town. But just making your own fun was an important thing. We had a stream through our farm, so I spent a lot of time in that stream, building little dams or whatever, or catching marron or jilgies and doing all sorts of things. You just did. You made your own entertainment, and you didn't need to rely on, as long as you were safe. That was the main thing. Yeah.
What do you think was the most mischief you got up to?
I had lots of accidents as a child. I had, quite a few injuries of, just doing things you probably shouldn't have, riding off bridges on bikes, and cracking a leg on a truck, on the front of a truck, sort of getting into a weird spot, not getting run over, but climbing on a truck. I ran myself over with a tractor as a very young age. It was one of those little grey Fergies that could start in gear, and I would have only been 2 or 3, and I was crawling around on it and managed to take off, not knowing what to do, and when we're sort of climbing over the back, and then the trailer behind it running over me, and not remembering much after that, but lots of tractor accidents, and I don't know if I was clumsy or not, but I survived.
You're still here today.
Yeah,
Mike.
exactly. Yeah, no, but I did. That did happen. That could have gone a really weird way with the tractor. When I think back, if I had have gone under the tractor wheel, and I remember it after being run over the tractor, hitting a fence and stopping. But they were dangerous.
Pretty lucky.
It was. So lots of little farm accidents, and lucky.
What do you think is the most important skill you need to be a good politician?
Interaction with people, an ability to be able to calm someone down, and to listen. I think to listen is important, and don't ever belittle anyone if they've got an issue, because to them that's their issue. And in a role in like even in local government, people don't tend to get involved too much until they've got some sort of issue, and that's important to them. So don't try and brush it off. Try and work through it. Generally, if you're genuine in trying to get through to a solution, they'll appreciate that. But you're never going to please everyone all the time. So yeah, I think listening and trying to come to some sort of outcome and explaining, educating, whatever you need to do to make it work. But there's issues come through all the time. It's just how you deal with them and interact with people and listen to their. That's an important thing. Don't try and stand over top of people and be angry with them. You need to be calm and take it and have a really thick skin on your back.
Yes, that's definitely needed these days.
That helps, yeah, definitely.
What other skills do you think you need to be a good poly?
Other skills, you need to have energy. I've never been on Facebook, and I've done that deliberately because some things I don't want to know. I don't need someone telling me what I am or not am. I think it's important that your first impressions with people, that you try and do your best to make a good first impression. But I do, get concerned with people making an opinion of you when they don't know you. Give me a chance. I don't mind if you call me a dickhead if you know me.
Yeah.
But if you don't know me and call me a dickhead, that says something about you that you're a little bit close to finding out who someone is. So I sort of think. Those sort of skills, don't get too flustered by that. Try not to. I'm not saying people don't get upset with things that happen, but
yeah, definitely.
As someone that in this role that try not to take it to heart. It's hard not to sometimes, especially if it just goes on and on and on. But yeah, that's a skill to set that aside and look for keep looking at the long term, the goals that you set for yourself. Don't try to get too distracted by something that happens. So yeah, keep focused.
Who is one person you'd like to meet but have not met yet?
Living or past?
Living.
Living. Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Interesting choice.
Yeah. I know he's kind of colourful, but I'd enjoy some of the way he explains science. I think the way he delivers stuff and makes stuff make sense. I quite enjoy watching bits of his clips on YouTube. So yeah, he'd be one I'd like to meet. Yeah, definitely.
Is there sort of anyone else you can think of?
As a living person.
As a living person. Or is there any, people that have passed who you wish you could have met?
I would have loved to have gone to listen to Christopher Hitchens. Just the way his acumen and his intelligence and the things that he spoke of, he would be one I would have liked to have met. He had a pretty hard on himself with his drinking and his cigarette smoking, and it led to an early demise. But I never saw him get too flustered in some of the debates that he had, and he debated some really smart people, and I just thought, wow, just the way he was able to draw in bits and pieces. I'd love to be able to have that sort of interaction and those debating skills. And I don't think I've ever seen anyone as good as he was. So I would have enjoyed meeting him.
Who would you like to see hooked up to a lie detector, and it doesn't have to be a politician?
Well, case in point at the moment, I'd love to see Donald Trump hooked up to one. I think it'd blow up. That would be hilarious. I do sit up and watch some of them. What can you say about that man? It's just ridiculous. Just ridiculous. So yeah, it just can't help himself. I'm not sure of anything he says, even his delivery. I'm thinking, I'm not sure, how he managed to get in the position he's got into. But it's out of control. It's chaotic, and no, it certainly wasn't fit for that role. But they've got what they've got, but yeah, he's very good at manipulating the truth. So yeah, I'd like to see him hooked up to one, definitely. Yeah,
it'd be very interesting to see how that goes.
Oh, wouldn't it? Or his press secretary, Caroline Levitt. She's nearly as bad. But anyway, Interesting, yeah, at the moment. The leader of the free world.
Yes,
Yeah.
apparently.
Apparently, yes. So that would be my choice.
Are you a fan of horror movies?
Yeah, I was when I was younger. I loved them, yeah. And as a child, I remember sitting up. They used to have all-night horror movies, like they used to go right through the night and sit up and watch them. And they had the vampire movies and the original Fly with Vincent Price, and as I get older, some of the not the chainsaw ones. Yeah, I didn't mind the chainsaw ones, but I'm trying to think of the really dark one. There were some good ones. Yeah, I don't mind them. Don't mind the suspense and bits and pieces. So yeah, the Nightmare on Elm Streets and all those. Yeah, I didn't mind them. They've got that certain pattern when you think, why are you going in there, or why don't you run, or why don't you get away? But yeah, no, I don't mind the old horror movies. I'll watch anything basically, but yeah, I did like them. Yep.
Okay, so they don't give you nightmares or anything after?
No, not really. No, not at all. I'm trying to think of one I watched not long ago that I quite enjoyed. But yeah. They're not my go-to movie, but I don't mind them. I like a good comedy, but it's hard to find a good one now. Yeah.
When is the earliest you think stores should be able to start stocking Christmas items?
Oh, goodness me. Not long ago, I was in 2J, and they've got a Christmas shop up there, and it's amazing. It's huge. So they're stocked 12 months of the year. Yeah, the earliest that they should be able to do it is, well, I guess, getting close to Christmas time. But I'm not a huge sort of a Christmassy person. Maybe when I get grandies one day, that I might be back into the vibe of it. But some of those things have sort of turned into more commercial than probably what they're meant to be. But don't like to think the years move through really quickly.
Yes.
When you start seeing Christmas decorations, you think, God, is it that time of year already? So I think the later the better, so you don't get that feeling. But I'm also getting a bit annoyed too that people use Christmas as an excuse not to do things.
Yeah.
And then they use it as an excuse after Christmas, saying, oh, we haven't caught up from Christmas, and Christmas seems to last about 6 months now because we can't do it before Christmas and we can't do it after Christmas because we haven't, sort of thing. Oh yeah. So probably I think later the better would be great, but I understand that people need to get the vibe, and it is an exciting time of the year, and it is nice to catch up with friends and family at certain events. So, but as far as putting stuff out for Christmas, yeah, the later the better. So the 23rd of December or something. Yeah,
that's all right. How do you go with George Michael and Mariah Carey getting played everywhere?
Part of one of the jobs I do at the moment, we do quite a few Christmas in July. So I've already had my Santa hat on, a Santa outfit already in July. But look, I've got a Christmas list, and I've heard all those songs numerous times. But yeah. It's all good. It's all good. All right.
It's all right. Well, we've come to the end of Question Roulette. Mike, how did you find it?
Yeah, very good, Sean. Yeah, it was easier than I thought.
Well, that's good.
You're a very good interviewer, so you did a good job. You put me at ease, so appreciate that.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Mike. I do really appreciate it.
Lovely, Sean. Lovely to see you again.